What's next? I'm thinking about judgment and who has the right to judge me. It's not really just judge me, but each person. Who has the right to judge each person? And after death, you're supposed to meet your maker and go into judgment. Because God sees all, God knows all. That kind of a thing. But how would God, who's never actually been alive, have the right to judge me, a human being, as a corporeal being versus an omnipotent being? And why would God, an omnipotent being, want to spend time analyzing the in and outs of a corporeal being? I think it comes down to one thing. Judgment Day is you judging yourself. Because no matter what, I can manipulate, I can lie, I can do anything. But I'm there the whole time. I know everything I've done. And I know when I've done right or when I've done wrong. And when I did the right thing for the wrong reasons, when I've done the wrong thing for the right reason. I mean, we've all done that. And who's God gonna judge these actions against what? Well, I was the person who went through those. I was the person who witnessed those. And I'm the person who knows what the right decision was. So I think after death, there is no judgment. No one judges you. You just judge yourself against the meter that you draw in life. Because I know my day-to-day life, I'm judging myself constantly. But I've learned to harness my ego, listen to my ego, and utilize my ego as an adversary, as an ally rather than adversary, not as an enemy, as my friend. And as my friend, he tells me things that I don't want to hear. He tells me things to nudge me in the right direction. I mean, we all have those kind of friends who kind of nudge you in the right direction. We all have those kind of friends who just you don't want to be around anymore. Those are the kind of friends you should cut loose. Well, your ego, you really can't cut loose your ego. But you can listen to them. And when you listen to the ego and learn to listen compassionately and fully, and not take everything it says as gospel truth, but take it as a measuring device, as a thing to decide how things should be. And not get upset with it, don't fight with it, don't argue with your ego, but utilize it as a way of bettering yourself. Because we all can use a way of bettering ourselves. So back to judgment. On the other hand of the coin is we're constantly judging ourselves and knocking ourselves down when we don't have the ego in control, in control. When we don't know the ego as a friend, we think of the ego as, pushing us in the wrong direction. Really, the ego is trying to push us towards the middle, but overcompensating. And the ego is not a very good judgment. Your higher self is your judge, while the ego is a physical version of your lower self, I guess. Trying to knock you into a better place. So I'm basically reaching a tangent. So get back to the focus of judgment. God will not judge you. You will judge you. Because you are with you all the time. And then some people will say, well, what about those horrible people like Hitler and Stalin who murdered all those people? Well, they thought what they did was right. Well, for one, I think that they knew what they did was wrong. They thought they were doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. and they will judge themselves and judge themselves poorly. On the other hand, there are sociopaths who do things and don't realize right from wrong. And unfortunately, I don't think those people have a soul. I think there are people in our lives who don't have souls. So after they die, after they meet, quote, their maker, and they're there to be judged, there's no one there to judge them. And if they can't go past judgment, then they disappear. They don't exist anymore. There is no hell. Hell is a punishment. The punishment is to put you in a better place. What would torture be but, like prison. Prison is supposed to rehabilitate you. Hell is the idea is to rehabilitate you. God would not invent a punishment-only location. It's supposed to be a rehabilitation place. And if you can't be rehabilitated, then why bother? Start over. Cut your losses and use the parts to recycling. So maybe that's what reincarnation is. An individual who did not have the right part to properly judge themselves. And they couldn't pass the judgment phase. So they had to try again. Or maybe reincarnation is when you judge yourself and realize, well, this was a bad run. I'd like to try again. And you're given that opportunity to try again because all this life is for is to make you better for the next level. And you'll basically, if you pass the next level, you're not ready, it will be a bad time for you. Because I know I've seen the next level in little pieces and parts. And it's wonderful, but it's also terrifying. Because it's so much. It's just so much there. And honestly, on my little brain, can't comprehend what it is. And what I can comprehend, 2 hours into a flash of a couple seconds, it's enough to be jolting and shocking. So in the end, who has the right to judge me? And that's me. Who has the right to judge you? And that's you. So either you start judging yourself now, or you judge yourself after. It really doesn't matter. But if you judge yourself now and put yourself on the right path, it'll be an easier transition. Otherwise, you have to do the merry-go-round all over again. Maybe not merry-go-round, maybe like roller coaster. I hate roller coasters. What's next?